Good day, Ruskin enjoyers. Hope you're right, because it's time for, we're not sure if we have abnormals tonight. So let's just quickly remind you, this current Rust store, it was 20 minutes late. What does that mean? Well, technically, in the UK, the Rust store appeared on Friday. And remember, Face Punch is based in the UK, and, well, the abnormal times and whatnot, all, like, it correlates with the UK time, if that makes sense. So, basically, we've had this happen before, right? It's not the first time this has ever happened. We are expecting that we don't have abnormals tonight, and tomorrow, when the Rust rotates, you will still not see the skins be marketable, because instead, every single skin the Rust stores, so let's switch over to here, let's just get a look at all of them. Ta-da! Every single skin you see here, abnormal and regular skin, right? They will all become marketable at the exact same time. Thursday evening, going to Friday morning, midnight, tomorrow, all right? So whilst we'll have the Rust rotate tomorrow, we'll still have to wait for these skins to become marketable, right? So that means, technically speaking, this abnormal video will be split into two. So the most likely outcome is, I'll just sit here, suggest prices, and, well, by the end of the video, you can skip ahead right now, look at the chapters, skip ahead to the very end. Do we actually have the barders? If not, well, there you go. So, if you're someone watching during your lunch break the next day, unfortunately, we don't have that, like, Wilder support to learn from. It's a bit of a guessing game, to be honest with you. Although, looking at the sales and whatnot, and, you know, considering what could happen in the near future, it's not going to be too hard to deduce what's looking like really, really interesting. I'll give you a very straightforward answer. Compared to the previous week, nothing's really screaming at me thinking, oh yeah, that's going to be an insane, wonderful, like, lovely build, all right? At best, maybe the backpack and the sheet metadabador, possibly the sleeping bag, but we'll talk more about that in a bit, of course. So, right then, I'm just going to jump straight in. We'll discuss the prices, and if there's no abnormals tonight, all right, fair enough. That was to be expected. We'll just have to be extra fast tomorrow, which wouldn't be fun, especially if we're still waiting for the Rust rotation tomorrow as well. Anyway, let's get to it. So, if you don't fully understand what abnormals are, if you don't understand what regular skins are, consider looking in the description right now. Scroll down. You'll see two videos are linked at the very top of the description. The first video is a 60-second short video, which will quickly showcase to you the abnormals. They are skins that become marketable before the Rust even rotates, and we like to use that time to our advantage. We like to get an early insight into figuring out, you know, do people actually want these skins? Are the barders actually adding up and matching up to its Rust store price? Because if that's the case, oh, okay, well, maybe it's a great thing to actually just buy straight from the Rust store, if that makes sense. So, abnormals, we use that time to our advantage. We want to get that early insight. We want to know, are these actually going to retain their value? Because if that is the case, boom, all right, that's a good investment then. And then, of course, regular skins, they only become marketable when the Rust rotates. But in this particular instance, unfortunately, with the Rust rotating a little bit too late, that means everything will appear at a set time altogether. That is the expectation. So, let's go ahead and start yapping about all these skins. We'll still do abnormals and regular skins, although in this particular instance, it should be all at the same time now. No Mercy Tac Gloves. So, when I initially first saw you, right? Sorry, still makes me laugh looking at it. When I first initially looked at it, it did sell quite a lot. It did over 10,000 subscribers. It was looking pretty sweet. And initially, I thought, you know what, that could potentially push all the way up to 30,000 subscribers. But I get the feeling, considering we just had those H-Tune tactical gloves being given away for absolutely free, you know, the very special Trust and Rust Twitch drops for December 2025, and perhaps people probably won't feel the need to go ahead and buy them. Now, still, considering it's part of the No Mercy collection, and of course, you know, if you looked at all the clothing and the armor, you might notice, oh wow, yeah, that's very in demand. People like it. It originally came out in 2019. This precedes Whiteout, so people liked it for a long time beforehand, but then Whiteout came out. It's still high in price, it's just not as high. But as you'll notice, it's all in the positive. But as time went on, you also noticed the roadside gloves came out, sold too much, and it still struggles to this day. Well, I can confirm to you, this is not selling ridiculously. I thought you were going to do between 22 to 27,000 subscribers, and at the moment, yeah, that's you are matching up nicely, but it's not like obviously going to reach all the way up to 30,000. At best, it might still push up to 27,000 tomorrow. It might be a late Rust rotation tomorrow again, we shall see. But based on what I'm looking at there, I have no complaints. It's not looking like it's going to sell ridiculously. In fact, it will be selling quite a fair bit less in comparison to the roadside gloves. So now we question, well, these actually keep you warm, don't they? Roadside gloves don't. But of course, you just take one quick look at the H-Tune tactical gloves, and if you already own these, do you honestly need to go grab the No Mercy, do you need the No Mercy ones? Let's be real here. There are a lot of people that want to actually complete a collection. You see this? This is lies. This is no Mercy Tactical Gloves. Take it away. But anyway, if you're on a budget, you don't need to buy the No Mercy Tactical Gloves. Those are perfectly fine. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. But I'm going to roll with the expectation. As time goes on, with the sales it has, I do believe it will actually gradually, gracefully rise up in price. All right. So I'm looking at that priced at $2.49. I feel like $1.20 to $1.70 should be a-okay. Do I still expect it to drop down in price? Of course I do. So let's just learn from the past. As you see right now, average player count 121,000, pushing up to 122,000. By the end of this month, I do believe we will be over 120,000, which is fine, especially when you compare it to last year. So basically, last year, start of the year, wonderfully, lots of people turned up. Next month, lots of people still turned up, but it starts to go down. Starts to go down. Less people turning up around the springtime. And it's during this time period where we see a lot of prices drop off. Less people playing, less demand for skins, lower prices. So inevitably, whilst prices are doing very nicely at the moment, we do expect them to drop off. And inevitably, with even the new skins, right, with even these newer skins, it is expected around March and April time that they drop down and reach a new low point. And that's why I want to offer close to $2, but not directly $2, if that makes sense. I do believe this will probably drop down by about 20%. Therefore, a decent $1.70 barter should pick up these for a cheaper price. And yeah, I think we'll be all right with that. Now, by all means, if you like them, if you genuinely feel the need to go ahead and buy them because you need to complete a set or something, by all means, buy it, use it, enjoy it, support the skin creators, keep them nice and motivated to keep wanting to put a nice creative designs in the future, all right? So those, No Mercy Tactical Gloves, $1.20 to $1.70. Neon Loot Room Garage Door. So let's just quickly remind all of you, the second I saw this, I quickly looked at all the previous Neon garage doors, and you might recall, they weren't looking very pretty. Well, if you look at them now, they do... Oh, no, I've clicked the wrong one. What do you mean? I meant to click the Neon. Whoopsie. There you go. They are better. However, are they better simply because we saw a new garage door being accepted? Or are they better because from here and now, people actively, actually, generally want to use them now? There is always, the question of, would you actually want to direct all the raiders to your loot? Would you actually direct them? Oh, if you go over to here, this is where we're keeping all the valuables. Have fun. You could use it as a distraction, a decoy, a diversion. That could be done. Perhaps that's how people want to do it. Maybe people want to do some very intricate looking trap bases. I think that'll get a lot of views. So okay, we have noticed improvement, but I do lean more towards that. It's simply because we got the collection continuation. Okay. If I'll be realistic with you, right? I'm surprised to see that has actually sold quite a lot. I wasn't expecting it to sell decently, but yeah, you are pushing up very, very nicely. It was expected it was going to do between 19 to 22,000 subscribers. It is full steam ahead at the moment. It's clear, people do want it. I'm just worried. Will those same people still be around March and April time? Or will we end up seeing tons of these listed on the Steam market? Which did kind of happen with these skins. Quite a lot of them were bought, 24,000, 23,000, and then as time went on, they just went down in price. People didn't care. Now, these other ones, 17, 19,000, quite a bit less. Farm Door comes out last year, still struggling, and it was real bad. Before we even saw this was less than half its price. So, being very realistic with you, I don't fully trust it. By all means, if you want to give it a shot, if you really want it, if you think, yeah, that's going to be fine, surely we'll see more of these garage doors being made in the future, right? I don't know, I can't answer that. I'm going to offer 80 cents to $1.20. And I'm still kind of thinking maybe I'm still offering too high. So we'll see what becomes of it. At the moment, it does appear to be genuine demand. It's just, how many garage doors are we going to see this year? So far, out of 3 stores, we have seen 3 garage doors. And you're still doing good. I'm surprised, but hey, props to you. Next rush door tomorrow, will we see another garage door? What do you reckon? Will we see a record-breaking amount of garage doors in 2026? Last year we got 39 in total. This year could we get at least 40? I'm not hoping for it, but I'm kind of worried it's going to happen, so we'll leave it at that. Junkernaught sheet metal double door. We have done the comparisons, and I will respect it, all right? It does have 2 windows of transparency, 2 windows that you can stand up and see through. But in comparison to the gingerbread sheet metal double door, standing up and looking through these windows, you don't get as much vision. However, I'm sure you're fully aware, in the bottom left, we do have this open grille. You can see through it. If you stand right next to it, you can look down. You could potentially see some feet. Some feet right there. Like, if someone's trying to door camp you, you might be able to notice them. Now, of course, if you're to build it in such a way we have like a jump up, you can see through the grille as well. So you know how somewhat recently we did talk about those garage doors with transparency at the bottom? Firefly's garage door, for example. There you go. If you built in such a way, with the holes it has in the bottom, you can see if someone's like trying to just stand outside or, you know, literally standing in front of your door. Like, yeah, you could get like that little peek just to be a little bit extra safe. So it has that advantage, but it also doesn't look very pretty. Now, again, by design, it's supposed to be industrial, but whilst the, well, let's just quickly show it to you. Whilst the other doors got bought out, they have dropped back down again. Now, it's not like dramatically down bad, but they have gone back down. They were perfectly in a positive for a while, then it drops off. And I am a little bit worried that the exact same thing could be happening to this. So you've seen the weapons, but let's not care about the weapons. We're only here to talk about the deplorables, and that furnace is not looking very pretty either. Quite literally and, you know, figuratively. So it would be nice, Pavlikatura, do you know something that could potentially save it? All right. Imagine if we got like a Junkernaught building skin for sheet metal. Okay, that would look pretty sweet. Like, I'm sure you played those games like Iron Lung and some other sort of dreary, sort of scary games where just basically a cog in the machine, figuratively, metaphorically, you get what I'm saying. You know, I sit here and push button. So that would be pretty sweet. But we do know the next building skin is the crypt building skin, a stone building skin, all right? So, okay, maybe I'll give it some time, but hey, Face Punch, I'm offering you ideas there. Can I have some of the pie? Anyway, for now, I am questioning it, but I can see people overlooking its design and just appreciating the pay-to-win features. Not surprising, is it? So, based on what we're looking at here, in regards to the sales, I was expecting it to do between 17 to 20,000 subscribers. It has matched up to expectation. Is that a ridiculous amount in comparison to everything else? Well, let's go ahead and just quickly look. Of course, compared to this did sell more. But again, if we have a late rust rotation tomorrow, this will most likely catch up to this. And by default, sheet metal double doors, they are reliable. They are appreciated. And when I first saw you, I did make reference that the Junkernaught skins are not appreciated. But we've had many instances with door collections where a sheet metal double door appears and that just works out nicely. Let's also just look at all of these doors based on high subscribers. It's not near the top 10, but it's still got quite a decent amount. Like, it's kind of just in the upper middle. And look at all that green. Look at all that positivity. So, okay. What were you referencing then? Sunken doors. You might remember with the octopus. Well, that's down bad. That's down bad. You're doing A-okay. And that also only did about 10,500 subscribers. So maybe lack of sales also helped out there. So let's go over to Oasis Collection. Yeah, Oasis Collection. Oh, no. That's not looking good. That's not looking good. That's not looking good. You're okay. That's not looking good. You're okay. So, But also about 12,000 subscribers. So maybe you have sold a little bit too much. Maybe that is a concern. So I've been yapping. I've been talking. I've been speaking. Oh, blah, blah, blah. I think in regards to this, I'll just still offer $1.20 to $1.70. Yeah. Are you expected to drop off initially? I would expect everything to drop off initially around March and April. I've said that like several times already. But I do hope those words have gotten into your head so you remember, right? Got to keep repeating. So, all right, cool. $1.20 to $1.70. Although, to be honest with you, you could, like, if you only care about long term, that probably isn't too bad of a shout. So, it's in your hands now. But unfortunately, we don't get these early buy orders, depending if expectations are met today. So we'll see. Okay, cool. Thundergold Thompson. So when I first saw this, you know, I mentioned the other white Thompsons of the past. I mentioned how somewhat recently we had constructed Thompson, which still kind of slightly goes up and down in price based on its rust or price. We had the Quarantine Thompson, which is A-OK at the moment. Scroll. We also happen to have the No Mercy Thompson. That's doing very good, almost $6. And then in the past, we've had the Glory Thompson, which right now is sitting there close to $17. So in regards to options, we do have the Dylan Zito Twitch drop as well, which is perfectly fun. A lovely white design. But let's also respect that the Thundergold collection is also doing very, very nicely at the moment, right? Whilst, you know, the sales are fairly high, not too ridiculously, but that's like upper average. So let's just quickly point out, as of now, you're in the upper half. Yes, you are. And with another day to go, and with the possibility of a late rush store, you might get like, you know, potentially an extra 2,000 subscribers, maybe. We shall see. Like, let's also just quickly remember, I expected the Thompson to only go up to about 16,000 subscribers at best. Let me tell you, I kind of wouldn't be surprised if it, you know, surpasses it tomorrow. So, looking at it, questioning it, and also remembering the MP5, which I also thought might do quite all right for a while, well, it still dropped off. But typically, I do notice Thompsons tend to perform a little bit better compared to MP5s, but I still should respect that that did drop off initially. So I only got 57 listings as well. So I'm looking at it and questioning it, and I think, all right, long term, probably the most viable, cheap option for a marketable white Thompson. I do believe that will work out eventually as time goes on. But initially, as we go through the expected down point, the low point around March and April, I wouldn't be surprised if it perhaps, at worst, loses about 20% of its value, therefore going down to about $2. Therefore, a perfectly fine $1.20 to $1.70 barter should be A-OK. So, yeah, I feel like that's perfectly fine. $1.20 to $1.70. Gold chains AK-47. The Hedge, it's gold. Surely it should be A-OK. Ah, shut up, you've got tons of gold skins. Anyway, let's just quickly go remind you, in the past, last year, we saw some interesting designs. Now, you might mention After Death AK-47. Yes, that was gold. But that's only super valuable based on a certain situation that happened where it was removed from the store. Only around 1,700 of these actually exist. And yeah, it's doing very well for itself at the moment. But then again, it was a lot better initially, wasn't it? Yes. So, let's also just quickly remind you, we've had some very cool looking golden skins in the past for DLC. You got the Elysium AK-47, that's sitting there, only $1.38. You've had the Medieval AK-47, that's part of a DLC pack. Scroll. About a year or so ago, we got the Nikov AK-47 Twitch drop. Looks lovely. Aim sight's wonderful. Scroll. In the past, we've had a sort of faux gold design with the Steampunk AK-47. That's only $1. Scroll. Not too long ago, we also got the Augusta Belt AK-47 Twitch drop. You most likely have already got that. It's a perfectly fine, lovely looking design. Scroll. And not too long ago, 2 years ago, we got the Mythical Dragon AK-47, a lovely bejeweled gemstone design with lots of gold, only $1.31. So if you're going to sit there and tell me, Hedge, it's a gold skin, surely it'll do good, I will... Sorry to say, but the Gold Chains collection's a real hodgepodge random batch of skins. Now, that's not because of the skin creators. They did try for clothing. They did try for armor. Face Punch didn't want to accept it. But Face Punch randomly wanted both the glove skins and a poncho and a backpack and an ice pick and the tools and the boots and an AK. But not tier 2 or hoodie pants or tier 3. So, I don't know what to say. Right. So, $3. Listen, we've had plenty of AK-47s sell for around $3 or more and then crash and burn. And I'm sorry to say, but I don't trust this AK, alright? Now, by all means, if you bought it because you like it, that's fine. You supported the skin creators and you'd like, you showed that you want to see more of this. Perhaps we'll see more gold weapon skins being made over the course of the next several weeks. Although, do keep in mind, Naval Update, Valentine's, Lunar New Year, the Year of the Horse. Yeah, that might take some time. 60 cents to 80 cents. I don't trust it. I'm sorry to say, but by all means, if you like it, buy it, use it, enjoy it, support the skin creators. Glacial Visage Armoured Door. Remember, they picked this out 2.5 years ago. They went all the way back then to make sure they still picked out an armoured door. Why are you making such a fuss about this? Because I was convinced that Face Punch were looking, constantly wanted to see more armoured door skins being accepted. Now, is it because we didn't see any for basically most of last year? Probably. I honestly am under the impression they only just realised, hang on a minute, we didn't accept that many armoured doors over the past year. Well, let's make up for that and accept tons of them now. What's wrong with that? Well, if you see far too many skins for a certain item in such a short amount of time, it's a struggle for them to stand out, and it's a struggle for them to actually stay up in price. Now, you might notice, what about Space-Based Armoured Door? That sold a lot and is still doing good. Yeah, but we keep seeing more space deplorables being accepted, and people don't seem to realise they're not actually from the same collection, which is fine. It still also, blends in perfectly with the brand new Space Station building skin, so that gets that benefit. But Blocky instantly goes down the price, and I'm a little bit worried because you have sold more compared to that. Although, you do look really cool. I showed you off in the rust rotation video. I showed you off in a special short video. And honestly, it does look nice. But do people respect the Glacial Visage collection? Oh dear. Now let's just take note. These are all accepted like early 2021 and they did sell ridiculous amounts, right? This came out somewhat recently, sold a respectable amount. Look at it now. That's doing good. So if we were to see Glacial Visage collection return with some more interesting deployable skins and potentially get acceptances, could we see you improve? Well, I wouldn't say no. But I also, I just wouldn't be surprised if we do see more armored doors. And I wouldn't be surprised if it takes away the interest from that. So based on what I'm looking at here, 80 cents to $1.20. 80 cents to $1.20. I feel like that's a perfectly fine approach. Odyssey combat knife. A glow-in-the-dark design, looks cool, and I know a lot of people instantly wants to make connections to the knife from hell. Let's just remind all of you, this came out in 2019, and it only got just under 4,000 subscribers. So you might sit there and say, it's over $20. Yeah, it also only got about 4,000 subscribers. Now, in theory, do people want to have a glow-in-the-dark combat knife? Based on all the other weapons and tools, like, I've had it very vocally said to me, people do not want, they do not want glow-in-the-dark weapons, glow-in-the-dark tools. They don't want to be seen at night time. Okay. Well then, you have some more compared to the other combat knife, and to be honest with you, if we didn't see 2 combat knives in this rust store, I honestly think that might have sold a little bit more. So, we question, what do we do? How do we approach? Well, I'll sit here and say this. You do find the combat knife quite a lot with the special toolboxes near all the loot along the road and whatnot. But how often are you going to try and skin it? Thinking. Well, you know, if I'm not feeling very confident, if I can't figure out a decent price, play it safe. 60 cents to 80 cents. Sorry to say. In this particular instance, I don't really know what to offer, so I'm going to play it safe. Maybe you know what? Maybe I might miss out. But you know what? I feel like missing out doesn't hurt as much instead of being dumped on and failing to get the price right. And trust me, that hurts. So, all right, we'll leave it at that. I'm going to play it safe. If you're not offer more, you're more than welcome to do so. Black Gold Backpack. When I did my predictions video, this was the first skin I talked about because I brought it up to you. In the past, we have seen many black backpacks. We have seen many blackout alternative options. So, interestingly, the first black backpack we see, it just so happens to be blackout. Do you notice how with these first few initial skins, well, they're doing bad, but you're doing good. Let's also point out 54,000 subscribers, 31,000 subscribers, almost 23,000 subscribers, over 54,000 subscribers. So initially, the first few skins that come out, they sell a little bit too much. Well, you're doing good. What gives? People appreciate black backpacks. I don't know the science behind it. I don't know the proper reasons behind it, but I do acknowledge that this black backpack, that black backpack, this black backpack, scroll, that black backpack, they're all doing good. Now, yeah, they are all like complete collections. So Blackout's complete, Legacy Kevlar's complete. I should also point out Training's complete, Pirate Collection's complete, all complete Blackout and Blackout alternative options. And guess what? Guess what Black Gold is? Yes, you guessed it. It is a complete in-demand Blackout alternative option. But also, notably, the sales that we see here, currently just over 12,000 subscribers, a lot less in comparison to the Tier 2, the Tier 3, and the Hoodie and Pants. So it's an interesting spot. Yes, it is. So, okay, well, that's pretty sweet. So, honestly, if you really, really had to buy something today, I think that backpack might be the best shout. Now, is it still expected to drop off over the course of the next several weeks? Yeah. Is it expected to drop off that much, though? Maybe at best about 20%? Down to about $2? You know what? I feel like the best thing to compare to is last year's Legacy Kevlar backpack, because at the moment you might sit there and say, Hedge, it's only up slightly. True, it is. But just want to point out, this came out in January 2025. So we can learn from this pretty nicely. Let's just go over to here. So right now, sitting there at just over $2.50. Scroll. Look at sales history. Hang on a minute, what gives? Initially, it goes down a price, so it comes out in January, and then by around the end of January, early February, it does drop off. Kind of rises a little bit, drops off again, rises a bit as we get close to the summertime last year. But then June has that weird instance where it has a dip. But then, of course, loads of skins that just spike in price around August time. That is peak summer prices right there. So, if we're expecting something like this to happen again, but also this as well, perhaps you are better off with a buy order. So based on what I'm looking at over to here, well then, I think I'm going to offer between $1.50 to $2. You know what? I want to try and pick these up. I'm going to offer $1.50 to $2. I'm going for it. And you know, if you're watching this during your lunch break tomorrow, and you heard these words, go look at the sales right now. If it's not close to 14,000 subscribers, you probably want to still jump onto this, right? So it's up to you. It's up to you, right? So keep an eye on that. It's interesting. So as we said a little bit earlier, because we talked about it with the armored doors, we still keep seeing space-themed deplorable skins being accepted. And with that benefit, the other space-themed deplorables are going up in price. Now, so far, it's just doors. So we've got this. You're down a bit, but that's not too bad seeing what you're like. But then again, inevitably, we are expecting a lot more garage doors. And then after here, we also have this. And now, of course, we have this. I can confirm to you, this past weekend, we saw some very interesting space-themed skins being produced, notably from the same skin creator, Kicker. We do happen to have a large box right over to here. And it does look perfectly fine. A lovely bit of glow, a lovely white design. But it's not just that. Like, I also happen to see, let's go over to here. I also happen to see two very interesting space-themed fridges. I happen to see some interesting looking beds recently. So, I think the momentum of the space-themed skins is still going to, continue. I feel like we're still going to see, more skins being accepted. I'm still expecting that we're going to see, potentially, more skins accepted and the pre-existing space-themed deplorables spiking demand, spiking the price ever so nice. And they're not actually the same collection, but because they're the same overall theme, that matches up nicely with the space station building skin, I have high hopes. So for that locker, we also have to bring up that lockers in the past, well, literally just last year, for example, we have had issues. See, in the past, it used to be a rare sight to see. But last year, we just kept seeing more after more after more. We've had 3 rust doors so far this year, and we've already had 2. So I am a little bit concerned, but also your sales, not too ridiculous, which is fine. I'm happy with that. And with the possibility to see more space-themed skins, all right, maybe things could work out right for you. But let's also just clarify. Next week and the week after that, those are the final rust doors for January 2026. And then after that, February 4 swipe, naval update, naval-themed skins will be introduced. And then after that, Valentine's and Lunar New Year. I wouldn't be surprised if skin creators will feel more focused in wanting to make aquatic, pirate, sea captains theme skins. That's my expectation. So considering that, I think with you, if we've only got maybe 2 more rust doors to see some space themed skins, I might just play it a little bit safe. I might only offer 80 cents to $1.20. I feel like that might be the reasonable approach. Again, maybe I'll miss out, but I'd rather miss out than suffer. So, yeah, 80 cents to $1.20. Dragonhorn sleeping bag. I looked at you and I was like, okay, that's pretty cool. Almost 5 years on the workshop and you get pulled out. Let's remind you that over the past few years, we've seen quite a decent amount of sleeping bags, but notably, the glow-in-the-dark designs, right? Well, they're holding up quite nicely. Oh, yes, indeed they are. So, over the past few years, we've had a decent amount of sleeping bags. We've only had a few glow-in-the-dark sleeping bags, and near enough, nearly all of them are up in the positive, and they are doing good. Now, let's also just point out 9,000 subscribers, 11,000 subscribers, 15,500 subscribers, almost 14,000 subscribers, almost 14,000 subscribers, almost 10,000 subscribers. Wow, only 7,700. And you, well, 11,600. Compared to all those other skins, you do have slightly more, true, but I can't help but assume as time goes on that will be appreciated. Although it's collection, does that seem to be appreciated? Ooh. Bit debatable, but you know what? Much like with the backpack, I want to do $1.50 to $2. I want to get close. I will happily pick them up for what potentially could be their lowest price, which would be around $2. But when it's good times again, the peak prices around the summertime, I do believe that'll be rising up ever so nicely. Fingers crossed. But just to remind all of you, the Dragonhorn skins of the past, the majority of these were accepted early 2021, and they did sell ridiculous amounts. 40,000, 40,000, almost 40,000, yeah. So that's a bit concerning. Right, and then we have the HellCore L96. So I was a bit surprised to see the L96 was made next after the SAR, because you can't have a transparent aim sight L96. You might be able to, that might be funny. Anyway, AK-47 comes out, standard design, looks cool, sells a decent amount. It's a higher price, but then again, we saw the SAR appear immediately after it with the exact same transparency as a Heat Seeker SAR. That's cool, and it's still retaining its value very nicely. But then you appear, and it's like, oh, okay. Maybe he just needed to put you out and put something, like, he needed to work on something else, put some time into it, which we should point out, there is an MP5 now. An interesting transparent MP5. And if you were to go ahead and like compare it with the Heat Seeker MP5, this is like a side grade. What on earth does that mean? Well, it's got some things it's a little bit better at, but it's got some things it's a little bit worse at. So do you notice how it still has the thing to the left here? You notice how it has the prongs up a little bit higher, but then you have the transparency in the middle here. So, okay, facing forwards in this particular instance, you could see a little bit more, but then you have like the other things in the way. So it's more of a side grade. To be honest with you, both of them are pretty much near enough the same in terms of usefulness. So, okay, the possibility to see another HellCore skin on the horizon looks, well, hopefully high. But I would think a lot of people would like to see another transparent aim sight MP5 to compete with the Heat Seeker. But again, just to repeat, side grade, side grade. So, you know, with the Heat Seeker collection, we did see the AK-47 come out initially. Didn't have anything really too special about it, but because it's from the same collection, people bought it because they wanted a full complete set. So with you, HellCore L96, you're looking fine. You're not selling that much in comparison to the other HellCore skins. You very likely could just simply be carried. 23,000 subscribers, 25,000 subscribers, 9,000 subscribers. That's a surprise. And were we expecting it? Scroll, scroll, scroll. Yeah, 9 to 11,000 subscribers. All right. So, yeah. But one thing to be aware of. We have a lot of L96 skins, and we saw a lot of them being accepted somewhat recently. It was the focused item of the month for November 2025. Look at them. You'll notice we have the Abyss L96, the Black Diamond L96. Both sold at $3, both from a notable collection. Collections that are appreciated. Well, that's down 51%, and that's down a third. That's down a third, so... So I look at you, I think about you, I question you, and I think, you know what? I might only offer 80 cents to $1.20. Sorry to say. We might not see the MP5 instantly. Or maybe we do. Maybe. We'll see. So, guess we just got to wait it out. Just got to wait and see. So, okay. If you're feeling more confident than me, by all means, offer more. But I'm not feeling that confident, so I'm going to leave it. Sorry. Right then. And so that, with the abnormals out of the way, but again, we don't know if we're actually going to see abnormals, but still, just to keep everything in line, let's now talk about the regular skins, or what could be, or were, you know, regular skins. Asteroid Breaker Jackhammer. Now, last year, when we saw that, it sold a lot. A lot of people were very happy to see an actual jackhammer finally being accepted, a regular, normal one that was marketable. But then we got the fancy up jackhammer like a little bit, like a month later. And then, you know, a short while after this, then we got the Isoparam and the Aviator jackhammer. So that's awkward timing. Yeah, it was, yeah. And then we got the kick drop, and now we got you. Now, at first glance, you'll sit there and say, but that's a white jackhammer. True. But it's not like as white as you'd imagine. The majority of these, well, it's very 50-50. There's a lot of Twitch drops. There's a lot of skins in the red, but there's also a decent amount of them in the green as well. So, what am I going to say in regards to what I see here? Actually, you know what? Here's the foolproof way to approach it. What's the cheapest one right now? Let's go ahead and take a look at that. Lowest price. I can confirm to you the cheapest one is just barely over $1. Well, you know what? Perhaps, you know what? 80 cents to $1.20. That sounds about right. 80 cents to 120. That seems okay. I feel like that should be fine. It's not a ridiculously colourful one. It doesn't glow in the dark, but still, we do expect to see like more jackhammers this year. We should do. A lack of them could prove to be pretty interesting, but don't be surprised if it drops off. So yeah, 80 cents to 120. Void Venom combat knife, based on what I talked about here, and with the potential to see more combat knives over the course of the next 2 weeks, or rather next 2 rush stores, 60 cents to 80 cents. Fault set. Well, you're part of the Fault collection, and well, there you go. And of course, this past weekend, I should point out, we did see a crossbow, which did look cool, but it's still weapon-only collection. So, yeah, I'm sorry to say that SAP very likely will be like last year's SAPs. What's wrong with last year's SAPs? Well, SAP used to be a very reliable option, used to be a very reliable investment, and as you'll notice, a lot of the skins from last year, to which a lot of them appeared, quite a lot of that's in the red. That's not looking very pretty. So, for our Fault set, what am I going to offer? Again, lowest price. Let's see how low could you potentially go. And you got some of the really like rusted ones, old yucky sort of ones. Sorry to say. I think we could look at that and say 80 cents to $1.20. 80 cents to $1.20. That should be okay. It looks nice, looks cool. I don't hate it, but I don't fully trust it. So yeah, there you go. So that's all the prices. Now we, of course, have to wait and see what actually happens. But again, wouldn't surprise me if nothing appears once it hits midnight my time. And we got another hour to go. So, all right. Void Venom price, 60 cents to 80 cents. Right then, so let's talk about some interesting things that we have seen. So, this weekend, we should now see the majority of Valentine skins being submitted. I should also point out the focused item of the month for February 2026 is the spinning wheel. Can confirm we've seen a spinning wheel. Get a good look at that. So that's looking cool, but I would expect to see some more. And of course, I should also point out, tomorrow we are still expecting combat knives. I unfortunately forgot to add this to my collection. It is added now. So if you see my Rush Workshop skin checks, I forgot to mention the natural ruby knife. Let's see if that potentially gets accepted. Let us not forget that, of course, we saw the hammer being accepted literally for the very first rush store. So could we see the combat knife being accepted? Keep an eye out. Right, so aside from that, we should also point out the first ever SKS skins have been submitted. So let's just go over to here and boom. Right. Training SKS was first, but Heat Seeker's there as well. And I know a lot of people are like instantly thinking, oh, does it have a transparent aim sight? No. Vase did not want to do a transparent aim sight for like a brand new weapon. So you got a very nice stylish design, very colourful, a lot of white, like a lot of yellow as well. So at night time, when you look at it, you can see it appear as if it's white. So with all the other Heat Seeker weapon skins I've seen, a lot of them do appear quite brightly at night time. They are noticeable. So all right, cool. So standard sight there, and of course the ever so nice sleek design of the trading collection, and I can confirm also a standard sight as well. So all right, cool. But keep an eye out, because of course we're probably going to see some Valentine's ones being made. Would you like a lovely pink heart-covered SKS? What about Twitch drops and kick drops, huh? I won't be surprised if we see a kick drop. Honestly, we'll see how it goes. So, all right, cool. So, looking pretty sweet. Now, is there anything else that we should address? So, it is expected with Lunar New Year 2026, which I believe is February 17, 2026. Year of the Horse, we're expecting a horse mask. Chat, someone mentioned it yesterday. I don't have the link to where they mentioned Lunar New Year 2026. Does anybody have that link? If you could grab that, I'll be incredibly grateful. Whilst I'm waiting for that, let's just quickly hop over to Protox on Twitter. He has uploaded a video showcasing. There it is. He's got the Artist Pack DLC on staging, and he has a very special video for that. So you see this link here? I'll link you to this. Look at the description right now. Go ahead and watch his video. It looks interesting. I'm not sure if it's for everyone though. Yeah, it might not be for everyone. We'll see. So lots of brand new information being mentioned, and it looks like the Brutalist peaks, they are actually being removed now, and it most likely will be put in for February Force Wipe. So enjoy them whilst you still can. Right then, so anything else that you've mentioned recently? Because of course I'm looking for this mention of the L. No, he hasn't got anything. All right, fair enough. Right, so let's just quickly switch back over to here. Rush Workshop skin checks. 123 skins in total now. lots of collection continuations to mention, and of course the brand new first ever SKS skins that are ever produced and whatnot. So consider giving that a good watch. It's totally up to you. It is a long video, but there's a lot to discuss because there's a lot of collection continuations. It is getting ridiculous, I know. I do apologise, but there's a lot to look forward to, right? Yes, that is Temple Tier 2 version 2 right there. That's a laugh. Consider giving that a watch. So, all right. Cool. Is there anything else? I'm not sure. Off the top of my head, I'm not sure. Oh, Vampire Crossbow's been bought out. All right. Well, we are noticing a lot of like random buyouts. A lot of potential brand new manipulations. No, that's it. So let's just quickly switch over to here. Let's go to micro522.com and let's just point out the top performing skins right now. SKS is on top. If it was submitted a little bit earlier, the Heatseeker SKS would be second. And then in third place, the version 2 for Temple Collection. Heart of Chaos Rock is fourth. Leshy Tier 3. Get a good look at that. What? Yep. Someone decided to cut the grass and then cover themselves in grass. Yippee! That's Leshy Tier 2. Tier 3. Yeah. And yeah, you got a lot of other skins. Look at the description. The link to micro522.com is right there. And you could go look at all these skins in order of overall score. So what will be accepted? We shall see. Right then, that is a wrap. So basically, what we're going to do now is skip ahead and find out, do we actually have abnormals today? So we were surprised with some Counter-Strike buy orders. I've actually had to switch accounts. I was going to use the HellCore account. I was planning to, but I'm just going to stick with this account. You can do buy orders. There's no issue, but yeah. So it's obviously now midnight, as you'll see right above me. And just to confirm, yes, it's midnight. And, well, I'll start refreshing. I'll look around. I'll refresh over to here as well. Usually it takes a good 20 seconds for them to actually start appearing, but I think you're going to find out. I might get the request issue, considering I've just done so many buy orders in Counter-Strike, but, well, it looks like we might not be seeing anything today. So what I'll probably still do is I'll showcase to you the buy order I did on one of the most valuable Counter-Strike things we just saw today. I've got a good $100 buy order in it. Where are we going? Second barter. Hello. Good day to you, good sir. Hello. Right, let's go put down a $100 barter on you and see if that works out, or we scream and cry about it later. Boom. Party animal. M4. $100 barter put down at a record-breaking amount of time. I hope. And I think I'm the fastest there. That $100 range. Fingers crossed I was the fastest there. Okay. Cool. Yeah. Maybe I pick that up in the future. And it's happened like this before, right? Maybe I pick that up in the future. Maybe I can flip that for a lot more. Oh, that was a good fast barter. Yes. Fingers crossed it goes up in value very, very nicely, and I potentially pick it up for a fairly decent price in the future. Fingers crossed. Anyway, as you'll notice, we're not seeing anything. And I can see that someone's just linked me a skin. Benji, I've already done a barter on it, but thank you. And, yeah, we sit here, we wait. It's now a minute past. Don't you think someone would have listed a black gold backpack by now? Or a sleeping bag? Or a Junkernaught sheet made a double door? Or no Mercy Tactical Gloves by now? Or Thompson? Gold chains, AK-47? Like, you get the idea. The expectation has, well, come true. We expected that we weren't going to see any abnormal barters today, and it looks like that has proven correct. So that means in 24 hours from now, then all of the skins, including the regular skins as well, they'll all become marketable at the exact same time. So at the very least now, everyone here, I ask you, make sure you put the time in to prepare. Figure out what you want to focus. And if you're watching this tomorrow, if it's still like lunchtime, if the rush store still not, like has actually rotated, well, you probably want to go ahead and, well, start considering if you actually want to go ahead and buy those skins. Like I said, some of those skins actually did look like they could be some nice things for the long term. If you're still selling your rush skins, if you're still in the need to go ahead and like buy something just so you can continue selling, consider it. All right? But if not, if you're like, no, what, I think I'll just stick with the barters, that's fine. Okay? It's totally up to you. So now we should obviously talk about what to expect tomorrow. So let's just switch over to here. I've got so many tabs. I'm so sorry. I'm like trying to figure out where is what. I set up a giveaway, right? I set up a giveaway. That happened initially when we started it an hour ago, but then this Counter-Strike thing happened like 5 minutes after that, so I had to rush back. For the past hour, I've just been doing Counter-Strike barders. We might put it into a video. We might. We'll see how that goes. Anyway, focusing what we see here. Yeah, so you've got to start looking at these skins and you've got to start making considerations. I don't know if we're going to have an early Rust rotation tomorrow. For the past few Rust stores, all of the January ones, they have been late. Now, of course, I will be streaming tomorrow. Consider looking at the description right now. See the links to all my socials, notably my Twitch link, okay? I will be sitting here. I will be, like, waiting for it to happen. But, yeah, if you want to be there and prepared and ready and you want to be there, like, with all of us as it happens, you're more than welcome to come and join us. You're more than welcome to be with us, right? So, we'll see how everything turns out. I look forward to it. So, no, Shiftless Drifter's asking, have any of the abnormal barders appeared? I can confirm to you, no, 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 no. So even if it was just 20 minutes after the limit, right, still didn't appear. In the past, I believe like a year ago, we had an instance where it was 2 minutes late and it was still no abnormals, right? So this is a lesson learned. If you're new to this, it may happen again. Oh dear, so be prepared, all right? Now, I will say, around March time, so in about 2 months' time, clocks will change in the UK again, and that means everything returns to being 1 o'clock in the morning for abnormal barders. So, in the future, we might have Rust stores rotate after midnight. That's fine. So, as long as the abnormals appear at 1 o'clock in the morning, that's still fine. But, of course, if they appear 2 minutes after, oh, well, there you go. So, yeah, that's abnormals, that's yapping. And again, if you still don't understand what abnormals are, consider watching the second video listed in the description. You'll learn pretty much everything in regards to abnormals, okay? Although I don't think it addresses what happens if the Rust store is late. But in short, it's all based on UK time, and if it appears literally on a day, well, it's going to appear literally next week on that day as well. So technically speaking, Rust store last week appeared on Friday in the UK, and that means this week it's going to appear on Friday, midnight. Cool. So, yeah, it might be a little bit anticlimactic, but we did warn you. We did point it out. And now it makes things a little bit more riskier because we don't know if any of these skins actually have genuine demand. Or rather, we don't get to have that early insight. Give it a shot. Best of luck. Enjoy yourselves. And at the end of the day, if you think it's too much of a risk, if you're like, oh, I don't know, just don't take part. Just stick with a lower price barder. That should be fine, right? Or maybe just wait until like March and April time. Go back to these skins. Chances are they will be a cheaper price, and I don't think you'd be upset with yourself if you went and bought them then. So, yeah, okay. So, catch you later. See you, goodbye.